What's up, New York? I'm your host, Gio the Dancer, and welcome to another segment of Dancers Corner, where I showcase the hottest dancers in New York and throughout the world. Today, we have a very special guest. My special guest is no other than the one and only King Water Boots. So, Water Boots, how did you get your name?
Well, it all started from before I actually got into the world of dancehall. Before I was being a dancehall dancer, I was once a regular hip hop / flex dancer or break dancer, whatever. Like, a lot of people categorize it different. But yeah, it started from when I was in Flex in Brooklyn, and I used to hang around Suspense Crew, which is one of the guys from there. I labeled him as he was like one of my idols by the name of Bingy. And you know, I grew up around the whole team of Suspense, you know, Samantha Suspense, Motion Suspense, Kevin Crown, who's like still one of the hottest DJs out there. And you know, that's when I used to be around Jam Cam, Joel T, and a lot of other DJs such as Colors. And then one day, you know, everybody knew me as SpongeBob in the dance hall. That's what they was calling me. I didn't like it, but I dealt with it because, you know, that was what the name I got. And one day I discovered the legendary great Bogle. And as I used to watch this man, I used to dig his style because I used to like, you know, I'm a lot into the punk rock thing and stuff, and that was mostly the style they had. And one day I seen the Water Boots thing going on. I said, well, that's what we call them, but they call them Galatians. I seen people wearing. I was like, let me see if I could get a little gimmick with it. Yeah. So I just wore it one day to a dance in a spot that went by the name of The Rock, and it was a night where Steely Bashment had an event where Bogle was supposed to be there. But, you know, whatever little promotional difficulties happened, he wasn't able to show up. So being that he wasn't able to show up, in return of that, he had a dance competition. And of course I won. And from that day, he didn't know. I didn't have a name for myself back then. I didn't want to tell him SpongeBob, and he gave me the name Water Boots, just like that. And from he gave me that name, I was stuck with it.
Join us to celebrate Althea's birthday bashment on Friday, February 28th at 11 p.m. Until you say when. Admission is free. Dress appropriately. No sneakers. Niceness guaranteed. All happens at Enrique's Lounge, 138-89 Francis Lewis Boulevard, Rosedale, Queens. For more information, call 347-358-6557.
Looking for a great band? Try Groundation Foundation Band. Reggae, R&B, jazz, hip-hop, funk, and more. Music for all occasions. Groundation Foundation Band, we will make you dance.
So wait, you were SpongeBob, but wasn't there another dancer named SpongeBob as well?
There was actually three of us.
Oh, three. So who was the other two?
There was one from Queens, and there was another, and then there was another one in the Bronx who was known as Scarrett Boy.
Okay.
And basically the three of us were going by that name. And of course, after a while, everybody had their reasons why they ended up changing their name. Me, I didn't like it, and Scarrett Boy had his own personal reasons, and the other one, we actually don't know what happened to him. He just disappeared. We don't know.
Okay. So how did Water Boots become dancehall king Water Boots?
Well, of course, I've went through the struggle of a lot of people looking at me like, oh, this guy, he can't dance. This fat guy, who he think he is. So it got to a point where I started studying the craft of dancehall, and I figured out how the whole game works. And basically I practiced, watched my idols, watched the greats like Bogle, Ice, the whole Roses family, the whole Waukee family actually. And as I learned the style of dancehall, I just started going from state to state, borough to borough, and I just started conquering everywhere I went. And basically my gimmick also, I'm not like, I let everybody know my gimmick was part of the help of what made me gain my fan base. And then, you know, me as a big guy, dancing like the size of a average muscular dude that's about like what, 180 pounds the most or something. I was at least 225 pounds probably, moving like I was 175 pounds. Right. And you know, as I went from borough to borough, I've entered many competitions to the point where every one of them I won, never lost. And as I kept winning all those competitions, it came to the point where people started to respect me to a point where they labeled me as the dancehall king of New York. And from since then, like I've always had that label from then, and I still do now, you know. And I always show the respect to all my fans for still always remembering the path that I've paved for a lot of them, you know. And like, being in this game was not easy for me. It was very hard, you know. I've had a lot of people try to put me down. I had a lot of people who tried to doubt me and think that I would never do nothing with it. But I always did what I had to do to always prove them wrong. And you know, and that's how I became a dancehall king after.
So what about, I'm hearing you're from Jamaica, Trinidad. Folks want to know like where you from, what school did you go to, you know, high school, middle school. Tell us, where you from?
Well, I was born and raised out here in New York, right there, Kings County Hospital. I was born there. And my family background is West Indian and Venezuelan. The West Indian cultures that are in my family is both St. Vincent and Trinidad. And pretty much most of my family background is Hispanic from Venezuela.
So not only do you do dancehall dancing and flex dancing, I hear that you have a killer moonwalk. So can you elaborate and explain how Michael Jackson had a influence on your life and your career?
Well, pretty much like most of us, as a kid, if you ask anybody that's a dancer and you ask them who influenced you, if most people who say, oh, they've been dancing from since they was a kid, the main person you always know everybody said who their influence was as kids back then was Michael Jackson. And me, I was a huge Michael Jackson fan as a kid. And being that I was, you know, always into Michael Jackson, dancing at all my little family parties, you know how that goes, you know, the family functions, and they put me in the middle, I danced like Michael Jackson, and it came to a point where I used to get in trouble in school because I was dancing, you know, and, you know, the fact, not only just the dancing, but the music of Michael used to inspire me. Like, I always loved his music. I loved the words of his songs and everything because he always sung about something positive. And I also feel like me growing up listening to Michael also helped the positive side of me of learning how to be humble and not be so angry all the time. I felt like that helped me become the person that I am by, you know, learning to be humble, learning to stay strong, and learning how to show love to everybody instead of hate. Because that's a big issue in this world. A lot of people, they focus on hating one another more than loving one another. And that's something I learned from Michael Jackson.
You spoke about Michael Jackson and Bogle and Bingy being an influence. Like, are there any dancers in this present day that influence you now or motivate you to keep doing what you do?
Oh yeah, there's a couple of them. They got definitely Chris Brown. I rate Chris Brown to the max. Like, that dude, he's influenced me heavy to where he gave me the heart to want to be brave enough to flip. Learning to watch him dance and stuff like that. Like, at one point I actually tried to learn and pick up his style, cause like I just think he's great. Then you got Omarion. Usher used to be one of my favorites, along with Genuine, and who else? And then you got the actual dancers like Turbo, and you know, all the people from the movie Footloose. I used to watch all those, you know, movies from back in the days, like Footloose 1 and 2, Dirty Dancing, you know. And growing up watching all these different genres of dance and all these different listening to all these different type of music, that's why I grew such a love to want to dance, because like that seems to be one thing that my heart is into. Is like, I love to dance. Nothing can't stop me from dancing. Unless I break my foot, I don't think I'll ever stop dancing. I think I'll probably be 80 years old and probably still trying to dance and bust a move somewhere.
So Water Boots, there was an incident a few years back with a girl. What happened in the club at the Arc?
Well, as people know, the Elite Arc is one of my famous clubs that I pretty much lived my career of dancing in. And you know, one day there was a young lady who was pretty much a fan of mine, and I appreciated her as a fan of mine. And you know, she was very cool with me. I was very close to her. Every party, you know, she would come. We would dance, have fun, have a ball all the time, dance up a storm. And out of nowhere, one night, we were dancing, and I don't know what happened. Out of nowhere, I just seen her grasping for air. So I ran and I grabbed her, being that, you know, it's a friend of mine. I felt very concerned. And then as I turned around, right before my eyes, she just fainted and passed out. And the whole time we were there trying to wake her up, get up the whole time. And then we called the ambulance, of course. And the next day I heard, on her way to the hospital, she passed away. And they didn't know what was wrong until a few weeks after I found out, you know, she had heart problems. And, you know, it really bothered me. It really hurt. To this day, I still think about it from time to time. And it hurt me a lot, because she was really a good fan of mine, you know. And my condolences to her family, too. I just want to make sure I say that, too. That's my son right there that you saw earlier in the video footage. His name is Malachi. He's 5 years old now. You know, it's my little protege I have in the works, you know.
The Prince.
The Prince, of course. Basically the next me, if that's what he chooses to do. If he chooses to dance, I'm more than ready to train him, teach him, let him learn whatever it is he want to learn.
So, how do you stay in touch with Water Boots?
Well, if you want to find me, it's not hard to find. I'm not hard to find. I'm on both Instagram and Facebook. Both of them, same name, King Boots Spartan. At Facebook and at IG, which is Instagram. If you want to find me, as far as party-wise, you can find me each and every Thursday inside of City Vibe Thursday at Club Sugar Mills.
Water Boots, is there anybody you want to say what's up to?
Yeah, I'd like to say what's up to all dancers out there. What's up? I want to say what's up to my team, Brooklyn All Stars, Jam Cam family, Team City Vibes, Fire Unit. Big up yourself. Tuggy, love you. Keep doing your thing, girl. I love what you're doing with your track.
If you want to catch me at my dance class, you can contact me at Facebook at Gio the Dancer, or Twitter at Gio the Dancer, Instagram Gio the Dancer, or contact me on my cell 347-525-6588, and that's What's Up New York.